Media viewers, I am Kamal Haynes of 284Media and welcome to another special featured interview. And as you can see behind me, if you were guessing, I'm at the BVI Electricity Corporation's Popwood Pond plant location, and I had the pleasure of speaking with the General Manager, Dr. Neil Smith, as well as some of his other management staff on some of the topical issues impacting the BVI. We get to all those details right after a quick commercial break.
Today, I am doing coral treatments with Beyond the Reef. Today, we are doing shark research. So today, we are doing whale research with Beyond the Reef. And wherever I go, I take CCT with me because my life is unlimited.
At Higher BVI, we're not just about business, we're about empowering lives, and that is because we aspire to inspire. By choosing us, you're supporting a company that believes in equal opportunities, diversity, and community growth. Our mission goes beyond profit. It's about providing HR solutions, fostering talent, and leaving a positive impact. Join us in building a better future, a better BVI. Choose Higher BVI, where your support isn't just a transaction, it's a transformation. Together, we're changing lives in these beautiful Virgin Islands.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Just to give you a quick backdrop of the delays with the Anada Project, we had a significant delay around the time of COVID-19 and the increase in prices, which of course delayed the project significantly. However, following that disruption to the project, we have been steadily on schedule to complete the project, estimated to be completed in the third and fourth quarter in 2024. We had a small challenge on BVIEC's side with our existing generators in Anada. However, we only expect a slight delay in our project, and it is still expected to be completed around the fourth quarter in 2024.
What percentage would you say the project is at presently? And in terms of, you did say there has been an increase as it relates to the monies needed because of the global shift, the global prices in terms of rises, etc. And how much would you say you guys have? Are you still in budget, or how much over budget do you have? Did you have to go now to obviously match the global prices now?
So yes, we're still on budget with our contract cost for the Anada project. In terms of the expected. Well, I was asking in terms of percentage. The percentage of the project. So yes, the percentage of the project is approximately 40% complete, and we still expect it to be, like I said, on schedule to be substantially completed by the third quarter and final completion by the fourth quarter of 2024.
I'm putting things in perspective. When you say 40% completed, paint a picture as it relates to.
So we have about 53%. We have about 53% of the pile screws installed. We have 37% of the racking rails installed. We have 19% of the modules mounted. We have 1% of the optimizers installed, and all the best foundations poured. And at the end of last weekend, we had the batteries on site installed on their foundation. So we're still moving. Like I said, it's about 40% complete, and we're moving. We don't expect any further delay with the project.
And my last question on this specific topic, just to be clear, we have the same person that would have won the contract still a part of this project, still involved with this project, or was there any changes or shifts as it relates to who's party to the contract?
So Power 52 is still the contractor for this project.
Okay. My next question basically is based off of a recent statement from the Premier as it relates to, for making the BVIEC commence more projects when it comes to renewable energy projects.
Yes, that is a fact that BVIEC is focusing more on renewable projects. We understand that based on the current model we have using reciprocating machines that use fossil fuel, that the BVI public will be exposed to the fluctuations in fuel prices globally. And also we understand that fuel prices are going up. The trend is upward, not downward. And so we know in order to protect the public against the high energy costs that we need to rely more on generating sources that do not depend on fossil fuel. And that is the single most reason why we move in promoting renewable energy. Currently, the board of BVIEC is developing an initiative that will go on to the ministry that the minister, I'm pretty sure, will be announcing to the public in the coming months, or maybe within less than a month. So that is the reason why we just want to make sure that the public, the BVI public, is less and less exposed to high fuel prices.
And in terms of this project, obviously it was only recently announced, so I'm sure it's still probably perhaps in the planning stages. But some persons are basically would like to know or have a great idea of how would this work actually, in terms of, the goal is to have more renewable energy projects on houses across the territory. How exactly will the BVIEC benefit from this? I know there's retired done in the territory already in terms of bringing back energy to the main plant, but I'm not sure to what extent. Just to provide some insight from that particular perspective as well.
So what I'll prefer not to get into the details of it too much, but it will be more economical for BVIEC to use renewable energy than the fossil fuels that we're using now. And those savings obviously will be passed on to the customer. But the details of it, I'll prefer not to get into that until we've had a thorough discussion about what we're trying to do at the board level, at the ministry level, and then even with consultations with the public after that. But just be reassured that our intent is to reduce the cost of energy in the BVI. And that's the single most reason why we pursue the renewable energy option.
Okay, and before I get in terms of getting the outages and stuff that have happened in the past few months and stuff, I want to touch on the most recent announcement. Early this month, the Premier would have announced, our government would have announced basically December, the month of December will be matching fuel surcharge for this month. Some persons are still not too sure exactly how that will be, considering that they're saying December, but December's bill is generally January. Just provide more information on that.
So the government of the Virgin Islands has decided to subsidize 50% of the fuel surcharge component of the electrical bill for December. So the general public will notice those savings in January of 2024.
Okay. Let me just switch notes in terms of the recent outages. I know there have been talks of maintenance when it comes to some of the old infrastructure in terms of getting new generators or whatever the case is. I'll just provide, this is the first on camera, really explanation of the recent outages to just give the viewers or the residents more of an insight as it relates to understanding, okay, well, this is why this happening more often than previously experienced.
Well, we recent outages, I'm a bit confused what that is really, because I know we had some problems earlier this year, which we've more or less eliminated. And then I've often heard individuals say that the outages is more than in the past, but the evidence just don't bear that out either. So perhaps and are willing to propose or accept that the general public is more sensitive to power outages, but to state that the power outages are happening with more frequency than in the past, the evidence just don't bear that out, or records don't bear that out. But I will admit we had a spike when we had some concerns with the pump house. There was a period of time where we had some issues there, but to say it cat blank, if that's the correct term, that we have more power outages and now, I think it's just a narrative that somebody is pushing. That's just simply not true.
Okay. And in terms of the recent situation on Osman Dyke, we know we have to do there is an island-wide power outage there. Just provide some information on what occurred during that situation.
Okay, so I'll just provide an overview. I have on my right the generation engineer, Charles Valvalak, and I have the operations engineer, Mr. Atley Reimer, who deal with that specifically. But essentially what happened is that there's a subsea cable that goes from Capoons Bay to Jocelyn Dyke, and that developed a fault. The public might recall or know that subsea cable is on the North Shore, which is exposed to a lot of wave action. And so when we examine it, we recognize that there was a lot of damage on that cable due to excessive wave action that we believe is the primary cause for the fault that developed on it. We have now sourced, and the final bit of material should be here on Wednesday. That we'll need to correct that problem, and based on our commitment to the public, it is our intent, unless sea conditions prevent us from doing so, of having that subsea cable fixed before Christmas of this year. But I'll just let Mr. Balak and I call him Ricky at Lirahima, I'll give you some more details on that so that the public could be intricately aware of what's happening there.
So we had some challenges with the generator in the beginning, but essentially every 250 hours, just about 10 days, we have to take a unit off, which means the whole island will be out of power at that time to conduct the maintenance on the generator. The generator being a high-speed unit operating on base load, they had to reduce the intervals down to 250 hours for the maintenance on the unit. So that is why that you have such frequent power outages on Jocelyn Dyke.
Well, on a daily basis, we have like a local residents over there, working with us, checking it, making sure they have enough fuel, transferring fuel from one tank to the other generator. And then we have our local team go over at least 3 times a week to top up the fuel tanks over there to ensure the engines continuously run. And most of the outages is when we do maintenance, pretty much. We have 1 or 2 hiccups. Those engines are like standby generator. They're not designed to run 24/7. So with that, we have a few hiccups, but we are on top of the majority of the maintenance, but still things happen.
And just to end, for 2024, any initiatives coming from the BVIEC that the public can look forward to?
Besides the renewable issues, we just want to increase the reliability component in the station, reduce outages outside as a result of, climatic events, the things that we could do, line clearing, those type of things. But I think most of our focus will be to try to get the renewable energy things moving a bit further. Because it's our intent really to reduce the cost of energy to the consumer. I mean, there are details that I don't want to share because those things have to go through the board. But I think the public of the BVI should, look forward to great things happening. One thing I noticed, you see there's a whole team of individuals here. Now, what we're here doing right now is trying to see how we could serve the people better, the people of the BVI. So that, there's an active discussion amongst us to see how we could improve the service that we deliver to the people of the Virgin Islands. And I think that's what they should be looking forward to, improve service even improve customer service to make sure that our customers are in good shape. There's also an initiative with the European Union that Mr. Kelvin Eubanks, our IT manager, is leading, that will be seen by the public. So I'll just allow you to have a short conversation with him on that particular matter, because we're quite proud of it, and it's been going quite well thus far.
So essentially the initiative that we have is what we call a business continuity support project. In a nutshell, what it does, it gives us the flexibility to support the customer base in the face of a disruption, whether it be a pandemic, a hurricane, or even an earthquake. So long and short of it is, if we cannot get to the office for whatever reason, customers will still be able to make contact with us, whether it be customer service or the other support staff that we have, through a number of different media, including the website, telephone calls, social media, and so forth. So this project has been going very well. We are slated to finish the project around February, but certainly we'll keep the media and the public informed of our progress.
We have something, the BVI Electricity Corporation is a part of CARELEC, which is a consortium of public utilities in the Caribbean. And we go to a rodeo there where the linesmen compete. Give me a second. The linesmen compete on a regular basis, and we kind of threw some licks at them the last time. We intend to do so again. But I'll just allow you to speak to their boss, which is Mr. Leroy Abraham, on that. Speak about the rodeo and what you plan to do this year.
So just speak about the competition, the CARELEC competition, where we generally see BVIEC team doing relatively well. I think this year we would have done well this year. I think last year as well too.
Yes.
As well. What are the plans going forward for next year? But I assume they will be competing again next year.
Yes, we will be competing in that rodeo next year, and it's very informative and interesting because you go to every aspect of linesman work, but you just have fun doing it. You go to the safety precaution, you go to the work, going up and install a transformer, the same thing you do on your job, but they just have fun doing it. And we performed so well last year and year before, and this year, next year we intend to go and do even better.
When is it? Just give me some information on when it.
I think it's probably in the first quarter of the year, or somewhere between the first and second quarter of this year and of the year. I can't remember where it's going to be next year, but we hoping to be there.
Do you have any idea as it relates to the team that you'll be sending down?
Well, we might be sending down a junior team. It's junior and senior, but we don't have that much staff where we could send two teams. So we'll be sending one team as usual and intend for them to do their best.
You will have seen the fires occurring at the public pond in the River Plus Road. And there was reports of it coming in close proximity to the plant, to the BVIEC facility. Speak about that particular situation and whether there are any concerns as it relates to possible escalations of it getting over here and what damage or what risk that could cause not only to the plant but also to the wider territory.
Yeah, so the whole landfill situation in the hill in Paco Pond is a vexing one for us. Actually, it's a safety issue and could be escalated to a national security issue if we allow it to get out of control. On the last weekend, when we had a concern with the fire did come over in our compound, and we had to use or assist the fire department with our own firefighting measures in order to protect ourselves. from that particular instance. So even in respect to just the fire posing a risk to the power station, which by extension poses a national security risk, what I'm more concerned about really is the safety of the people at Packwood Pond in the power station who have to be here to run it. At one point, the fumes are so thick, I guess, so serious that we had to use respirators just to operate in the station. Because I don't think it would have been acceptable for us to shut down the station and go home. So it's a vexing issue. I know that the government at Vojans is looking at it, but because of the risk that it poses to the Packwood Pond facility, we have a hill immediately above the power station that could slide if the right conditions present themselves. And so that is something that we are in constant dialogue with the Ministry of Health on, and we're hoping that we could get some sort of relief from that situation in the very near future.
Okay, and in terms of I know you spoke about last Saturday's situation with the smoke, etc. Generally, when we tend to see from the onset, just driving past and we see fires from time to time, do those also affect the workers here as well when it comes to the fumes?
Yes, they do.
Okay, and I'm sure obviously that's been happening for a while. Are there any special health implementations put in place for your workers to ensure perhaps probably they get checked more often than the usual annual checkups to ensure that they're basically healthy, considering of the obviously being exposed to that constant fumes and constant atmosphere is as you said before, poses a huge health challenge.
Yes, so the BVI Electricity, I'm pretty sure, have probably one of the most comprehensive health check programs in the territory, I would believe. How time we check twice a year? I say once a year, but it's a whole suite of tests: liver function, hearing, blood work. I mean, every kidney function is a comprehensive set of tests that the employees go through on a yearly basis. Everyone is tested, so we check. So we have a fairly good idea of how healthy every individual is in the BVI Electricity. But to me, the important point is they should not have to be working in these conditions, and that's the salient point. And even beyond the employees of BVI Electricity who work in Packwood Pond on a daily basis, sometimes 18, 20 hours a day, we have individuals in the community who are also affected by this, and we have people downstream of the landfill are also affected by this. So it's a serious problem that I'm sure the government is trying to address, in addition to the multiplicity of other issues that they have to face. But for me and the entire management team here, our responsibility is to look after our employees, and that's what we're concerned about. So for us, it's a very vexing issue. We've communicated with the ministry several times this year on this matter, and we'll continue to communicate until we see something that is positive happening that would allow us to protect not just our employees, but the station and facility as well.